Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's Fall Semester in Review. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. And over the next hour, we'll take a look back at the events and happenings from the fall semester here at Troy University. Well, some of the biggest news for the fall came at the end of the semester as Troy University announced the hiring of a new head football coach.
Your new head football coach, John Summerall.
John Summerall was formally introduced to the Trojan Nation on Monday, December 6th. It's a return to Troy for Summerall, who spent 3 seasons as an assistant to Neil Brown. Summerall says he knew Troy was the place for him to make the next step in his coaching career.
You know, I was in a great position at the University of Kentucky, very happy. Was not looking to leave just for any opportunity that came up. Troy's a special place to me and my family. We developed a lot of relationships here with people that will be lifelong during our first stint here as an assistant. And then if I was going to take a head job, I wanted to be somewhere where you had a chance to compete at a high level and win big. And this place, football matters here. It's always been a winner, and we need to get it back to being a winner. And this place, football matters. It's very important, and the expectations are high, and we embrace that. I'm extremely excited about this opportunity, grateful for this opportunity to be the head football coach at Troy. It means a great deal to me and my family, and so just very honored to be here in front of you as the head football coach.
Summerall was a part of Troy during the Rebuild the Wall era under Neil Brown, so he says he knows what it can take to build a program to new heights.
I think we got a chance to get this thing going, you know, hopefully quick. But I think I will draw on some of the experience I have previously being here with Coach Brown when we were here, and I got here in December of 2014, and we didn't have this facility. We had a lot of things that we didn't have then, and so there's a lot of positives in place here that weren't in place at that time. So while there's a lot of obstacles and a lot of things we got to overcome, I also think there's a lot of things that have made this situation maybe better.
Fans packed the introductory press conference and seemed excited about the new hire. Summerall says he needs the Trojan fans to keep that level of excitement into football season.
We need them. We need them to buy tickets. We need them to show up to games. We need them to show up early. We need them to stay late. We need them to be loud in between. And so we need total commitment and buy-in from everybody that is a part of Troy University, that cares about this place and cares about the university. We need everybody bought in and contributing.
A major financial milestone was met for the Chancellors' 22nd annual golf tournament in September. As Claudia Peppenhorst shows us, it's a dollar amount that could serve a greater purpose for many years here at Troy University.
A financial milestone was hit for this year's Chancellors' 22nd annual golf tournament. $1 million has been raised throughout the tournament's history. Chancellor Jack Hawkins Jr. says the goal was set years ago, but the purpose has always been the same.
It's on this occasion that we celebrate the achievement of $1 million goal being accomplished. We set that goal a number of years ago, and we dedicated the money to support our ministry for student athletes.
The Student Ministries Fund supports faith-based programs for students and student athletes. The fund is named after John W. Schmidt, the longtime senior vice chancellor. Schmidt says he hopes this fund will continue to grow his service to others at Troy University.
It's a wonderful university to serve students. I know I've served there for 22 years, and just like my service in the military, in the Marine Corps, it's serving troops, it's serving others, it's going beyond yourself. And so I think this will make the difference in terms of another element of service, a service to not only our students, but our student athletes.
The namesake of the student ministry had a very simple response to the financial impact of the Chancellor's annual golf tournament.
I'd use a simple word: humble. I'm humbled by being part of it. I mean, I'm just a small part of it. The fact is that Dr. Hawkins was gracious enough to name this in my honor is quite a, I've never experienced anything like this, so it's a very humbling experience for me, but rewarding. The fact is that God is indeed good, and today is a good example of that.
The tournament hit another milestone this year as well, setting its record number of participants. 155 golfers were registered in the Chancellor's tournament at the Robert Trent Jones Golf Course in Prattville. Chancellor Hawkins says by hitting the $1 million mark, he hopes to continue to see the event grow to pursue student ministries on campus.
This accomplishment today allows us to expect this fund to last forever. We won't spend the corpus. We will continue to grow the corpus, but the funds that will be coming as a result of the interest on the $1 million will allow us to sustain that ministry.
Troy University Sports Hall of Fame now has 9 new members as Troy Athletics honored 2 new classes of inductees in September. Alex Albritton has the story.
On Friday, Troy University Sports Hall of Fame Committee hosted its 10th induction class with the 2020 Hall of Fame class that were not able to be inducted last spring due to COVID. The 4 new inductees, plus with the 5 2020 Hall of Fame inductees, gathered in Trojan Arena to honor their amazing careers and celebrate their legacies to the fullest extent.
It's second to none. It is a first-class event, from the social, which we're currently in, to the event that's going to be held later on, to the football game. This is the first-class event that everybody looks forward to. It's a night that everybody will remember, and so we're really fortunate to be able to have this beautiful facility here, Trojan Arena, that is typically it's a volleyball court or it's on the basketball court. It's going to be totally transformed tonight into an amazing event for these 9 amazing inductees.
The 2020 and 2021 inductees consist of Barney Burnett for the men and women's golf, Nancy Dansby Swanson for women's tennis and basketball, Leon Davis for men's basketball, Rachel Hassan Gravel for volleyball, Max Howell for football, Mark King for football, Colin McCrary for men's golf, Drew Rinaldi for baseball, and Andy Whitener for track and field.
It's such a nice honor to be recognized for something that occurred over 40 years ago.
The Hall of Fame started in 2012, and since then the Hall of Fame now has 59 members. And in the Trojan Arena, it features 2 interactive video monitors that display pictures and induction acceptance videos of all members. Between the 2 monitors is a wall permanently displaying the names of all members.
I just think about other people, and so just seeing it up there is certainly an honor and something I'll remember. And like you said, being able to bring my grandkids down here and kids to see that maybe I was something back in the day.
It's just an awesome honor. When I look back at the past inductees over the years, to be joining that group of names with Troy athletic history is just beyond my wildest dreams, and it's very humbling to be a part of that group and a part of that fraternity.
Alex Albritton, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University began demolition of Macarthur Hall in early September. Its site will become the new home of Troy's Materials and Manufacturing Sciences Center. Claudia Peppenhorst has that story.
This summer, we said goodbye to several buildings on Troy University's campus, but demolition continues during the fall semester with Macarthur Hall. The building once served as the library on campus and most recently housed the social work program, as well as the long-term home of the Air Force ROTC. But the location will soon pave the way for new research here at Troy University.
Today's an exciting day. We've got a venerable old building that's about to come down. Macarthur Hall, built in 1950, once served as the university's library, but we're bringing it down to pave the way for a new Center for Materials and Manufacturing Sciences, state-of-the-art, world-class facility that is really going to take this university, Troy University, into the realm of research.
The new Center of Materials and Manufacturing Sciences will open up the door for research into plastic and how it can be recycled. Troy is home to the world's largest plastic recycling company, KW Plastics. Gavan says that knowing this makes it even more important to expand and invest into this research on campus.
The center has already been established, but it's already outgrown what we have. We need a new building. We need a state-of-the-art, world-class facility so that we can do the kind of research that's going to help firms like KW Plastics and the automotive industry and all of the great manufacturing initiatives in Alabama.
While a piece of Troy history is being turned to rubble behind me, this site will soon be recycled into a location that will make way for the future of research here at Troy University.
Demolition starts today. It's an exciting day to actually see. A little sad for those who have great memories of Macarthur, but a great day for us who, as we look towards the future of Troy University and our foray into research.
Troy University kicked off the semester with the annual Odyssey Convocation in Trojan Arena. Maya Mitchell gives us a look at how Troy freshmen started their collegiate career.
Troy University lit the torch at the Odyssey Convocation to signify the beginning of a new academic year and to kick off Welcome Week. The deans of each college and students lit the flame at the sound of the South Marching Band, majorettes, dance team, cheerleaders, and T. Roy showcased the skills they've learned during the summer. Troy Chancellor Dr. Jack Hawkins encouraged incoming freshmen to get involved, and Troy alumna Josie Russell Young gave the keynote address.
As I was preparing my speech, I started tearing up, and my husband was like, "You can't cry, it's a motivational speech."
Young graduated from Troy in 2017 and worked alongside HGTV's Ben and Aaron Napier to renovate the city of Wetumpka, Alabama on Hometown Takeover. Young is grateful to be a role model for incoming students.
It's really been something that I've missed and wanted to come back to do, and it's been so great to just tour the campus before I came, just to see all of the changes, and I'm truly so excited for these freshmen to be able to get started, because I know that I wish I could go back and do it all over again.
After the speeches, incoming students and their parents learned the fight song, enjoyed refreshments, and had the opportunity to meet each other and Troy faculty and staff. The convocation marked the beginning of a new journey for incoming students who can still expect Welcome Week activities like Body Pump, Popsicles on the Quad, and Taste of Troy Friday night. Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University added a new welcome mat greeting people to the school in November. The new addition is hard to miss and is in a familiar spot on the edge of campus. Amaya Mitchell gives us a look.
If you take George Wallace Drive to get to Troy University, you may notice a familiar logo welcoming you to campus. The Power Tea located at the intersection of George Wallace Drive and University Avenue was an idea introduced by Troy students.
This was actually a student-initiated project, and I want to thank all the students who were inspired to try to put this together.
That student was Claudia Harris, who introduced it to Troy SGA.
Me being the special projects chair, our committee took it on, and I ran with it from there.
But more than Troy SGA pitched in to fund the idea. Organizations like sororities and the Interfraternity Council helped fundraise, but even the university's administration and the city of Troy chipped in.
We finally got all the money collected, and we are so ready to have it put down today.
Both Gavan and Christen say it's a way for people to know they're in Trojan territory and to bring a little bit of Trojan pride.
It was a great way to put our Trojan Power Tea out there, and they loved it from the start.
We're going to put down the Power Tea right in this intersection of George Wallace and University Avenue to declare this is the home of the Trojans.
Not only has the Power Tea been an exciting addition to campus, but has provided students with the learning opportunity as well.
It's been a long journey to get to where we are now. I've learned a lot about raising money. I've learned a lot about interacting with different officials, whether it be the mayor of the city of Troy, university officials, working with the students and raising money. It's just been a fun but a long experience, so we're really going to enjoy it.
Troy University student is going where no Trojan has gone before. Claudia Peppenhorst introduces us to the student whose future military career is making some Troy history.
Jalen Ray, a Troy University senior and Air Force ROTC member, has just become the first cadet from the university to be selected for the Space Force. In January of this year, cadets from Troy had the opportunity to apply to the Space Force through a nomination process. The previous commander of Detachment 017 nominated Ray, who recently received the news that he was selected.
It is kind of emotional to think about because of all the work I put in the past 4 years leading up to this moment. Just training here at this DET to be a leader essentially for any job I was open to, but to find out for space and knowing this is brand new for the U.S., it's pretty emotional to think about.
Ray will be working with space operations, where he will monitor satellites in orbit and ensure commercial and militarized assets are safe in orbit. Lieutenant Colonel Erin Dunnigan, the current commander of Detachment 017, says she believes many will follow in Ray's footsteps since they can now see that going into the Space Force is achievable with hard work and determination.
I think it's something that he gets to leave behind as being the first for Troy University. It's something that someone is going to look for and want to be the second and the third, and he can be that mentor as well as someone that can be looked up to as going into the Space Force.
Ray's entire family has been in the Army, but he decided to join Troy's Air Force ROTC program. However, with the recent nomination, he will be breaking family tradition even more by moving forward with a career in the Space Force.
My whole entire family has been Army, with grandparents and grandparents before that. Everyone has joined the Army since the Vietnam War, so me going to the Space Force is just huge excitement for everyone.
With the announcement of his new position and accomplished goal, Ray hopes to encourage and mentor not only those who want to go Space Force, but anyone with a dream.
If you have a goal in mind, just plan around that goal and accomplish as much as possible to get to that goal. So whatever it takes, you study as hard as you can, you work on your physical fitness, and you do whatever it takes, talk to whoever to achieve that goal.
After graduation, Ray will spend time with his family and friends while he waits to hear his base assignment. Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University has a long history of preparing students to go into the field of nursing. However, this semester, Troy introduced a new program that's giving future students interested in nursing a guaranteed pathway into Troy's program. Mackenzie Foster has the details.
Troy University's nursing department is implementing a new early acceptance program for prospective nursing students. The new program allows for college freshmen who meet certain requirements the opportunity for admission into the early acceptance program. With the university's nursing program being competitive, the new program allows for the highly qualified students to have a better chance of getting in.
It helps them to kind of pave that pathway early on. So what we found is we have currently coming into our program this spring, we have 9 students who were accepted through the early admissions program.
Although college freshmen are able to join the program, it is also available for high school seniors. For any high school senior that has already been accepted to Troy and has a minimum of a 3.5 GPA on the 4.0 scale with a score of 25 on the ACT is qualified to apply for early admission to the program.
And so it takes that guesswork out for them, as a high school senior that's looking for a university to attend. If you want to do nursing, it gives you that advantage of knowing that you will actually be able to come into the nursing program and have that guaranteed seat.
The early admission application starts on November 1st through December 15th for high school seniors. For college freshmen, the early admission application starts on May 1st through June 15th of 2022. For any prospective nursing students that would like to learn more information about the program, can visit www.troy.edu/nursing. Mackenzie Foster, Troy, TrojanVision News.
All this semester, Troy University's International Arts Center has been home to an exhibit of work from artist Janet Nolan. Troy took some time to celebrate her work in a reception honoring Nolan in November. Amaya Mitchell has that story.
You've seen stories and pictures of Janet Nolan's art hanging from the walls of the International Art Center, and you may have even visited in person. But the reception held Thursday night wasn't just to celebrate the artwork, but to also celebrate the life of the artist behind it. Nolan is known for her use of recycled items turned into art.
A lot of the work that Janet Nolan has in this exhibit is installation work, where it's composed of a lot of small pieces that are put together to create one entity. The work literally dances off the wall, so it's a vibrant exhibit, and her pieces help celebrate the reuse of objects and recycling, and I feel like a lot of people that come in here just say they feel almost like a child stepping in because of the colors and the use of simple objects.
But Nolan's art doesn't just hang from the walls of the IAC. It also hangs in places like here at the Fitness Center, where High Tide greets visitors when they walk in. And downtown at the Idea Bank, where Chorus, a tribute to Nolan's husband, welcomes guests.
Janet Nolan has added an entirely new dimension to what we have for our students to be exposed to, because it's just so clever. How fabulous to look at something real and inspiring.
Mrs. Hawkins and Chancellor Jack Hawkins were able to visit Nolan before she passed to talk about bringing her art to Troy's campus.
When I visited with her, she was so proud to tell me about her first time to go around New York City after a rainstorm and collect umbrellas, and she said, I could have collected thousands. She said people just bought umbrellas for the rain and then discarded them, and look what she's done with them. Not just this, but so many other things that she used.
Nolan's sister Sue Thompson and lifelong friend Dr. James Vickery, who worked with the Hawkins to transfer the art, also attended the reception. They were able to witness the artwork's home and the influence it's had on those who see it. Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And Troy University's International Arts Center lived up to its name early in the semester, as it was home to an exhibit of photos taken in places across the globe. As Amaya Mitchell shows us, the exhibit was filled with images that took visitors on a trip around the world.
The International Arts Center's Hubal Zoo Gallery is showcasing photography from around the world in the Stonehenge International Photography Competition and Exhibit. The competition began in 2018 by a photography group named 9.
Richard Metzger, who's one of the members, asked if we would be interested in bringing that show to Troy, and I thought that would be a super idea.
Over 600 applicants submitted their work to juror Sarah Kennel, who selected photos for the exhibit. Skaggs visited Kennel to see the process.
I found the photos that she chose for selected awards. She had a very good rationale for those.
Now 228 photographers representing 31 states and 6 countries abroad hang on the walls of Troy's gallery. The photos feature work done in color, black and white, and some are even digitally altered.
It's a really great show. There's a really large mix of different subject matter, anywhere from portraiture to landscape to abstract to some that are very conceptual, some that are political. But there's some really wonderful pieces.
On September 23rd, a few of the artists will come to Troy to view their work in the exhibit. Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
In August, Troy University made it easier for some area community college students to get a degree from Troy University. Holly Creel has that story.
On Thursday, Troy University signed an agreement with Lurleen B. Wallace Community College that will allow LBW students to more easily obtain a 4-year degree at Troy University.
This partnership truly will allow students at LBW to have opportunities that they haven't had. There will be a cohort group in the College of Education that will begin accepting students and teaching students beginning in the spring so that they can be concurrently enrolled. The second dimension of it really does allow the translation of technical credits into academic credits, and students who have gone through the technical programs at LBW will now be able to earn up to 30 credits towards a degree in occupational education at Troy.
The agreement allows concurrent enrollment in both schools and will ease the transfer process for a number of education degree programs.
So the co-enrollment opportunity allows an individual to enroll in Troy University and enroll in LBW. And then with this partnership, we've identified a certain amount of courses that an individual can take and pay LBW prices, but they get Troy University instruction. And this will put an individual on a pathway to begin their long-term career sooner, and then go ahead and get involved with Troy University.
Chancellor Hawkins says that the timing of this agreement is crucial to getting more teachers into the educational system.
Today we have a terrible shortage of teachers for K through 12. They're retiring in record numbers. Younger people are not going into education. We want to make it really desirable to study to become a teacher, and we want to make it too as convenient as we can for those students, for example, who are enrolled at LBW. They can, without leaving home, they can begin to build towards that teaching certification by studying with us.
The co-enrollment program will start in spring of 2022. Holly Creel, Troy, TrojanVision News.
October 11th marked the start of the 50th anniversary celebration of Troy University's Hall School of Journalism. Claudia Peppenhorst has more on that day's activities.
The Hall School of Journalism and Communication hit the milestone of its 50th anniversary. A jam-packed day of events were planned to celebrate, including Chancellor Dr. Jack Hawkins Jr. unveiling the new slogan for the Hall School, shaping ethical and trustworthy communicators.
You hear a lot about fake news in today's world of journalism. You actually experience fake news. We don't want to be guilty of that. We want our graduates to be focused on reporting the truth, not becoming the news, but reporting the news in a truthful and ethical way.
Interim Director for the Hall School, Dr. Amanda Diggs, says this celebration is not only about the school's milestone, but the students as well.
We are student focused, we're student directed. Everything we do, we're thinking about the student today and what that student as a professional is going to be able to do tomorrow. And so students are why we're here.
Whether you're behind the camera, in front of the camera, or behind a computer screen. The possibilities are endless here at the Hall School of Journalism and Communication, where students are being shaped into ethical and trustworthy communicators.
If the students can learn to communicate truthfully in every communication that they do, whether it's for the public consumption or otherwise, if they do that ethically and if they do that telling the truth with integrity, then naturally that trust and credibility will follow.
Following the unveiling of the new slogan, Hall School students attended a master class with Megan Hart Dorsey, a Troy University alumna who says she is honored to return to her roots and teach students what she has learned in the field.
For someone to ask me to come speak to students as a master class, it's really a huge honor because that means that I've done something right in my career. It means that I came to the right school because Troy University Hall School of Journalism and Communication has been such a huge impact on my career. I'm so proud to say I'm a graduate of this program, a two-time graduate of this program. So it's a huge thing for me to be here and a huge honor.
Journalism can be described as the art of telling people stories through newspapers or television. However, not many would consider those products to be works of art. As Amaya Mitchell shows us, that didn't stop the International Art Center from showcasing the work of Troy student journalists on its walls.
Troy University students and International Art Center partnered together to showcase a form of art you might forget to consider.
I got the idea for the art of the story because our students produce wonderful content in the classroom for the Tropolitan, for TrojanVision, but there's never really an understanding that goes along with that about what it takes to create a story and the sort of art that goes into storytelling and taking photos that are visually engaging and captivating readers' attention.
If you take a look around, you'll notice some of the events that have happened this past year, including the March for Black Lives, Representative John Robert Lewis's funeral, and how events shifted to fit COVID guidelines.
The content of the exhibit is what it was like to experience the last year through a Troy lens. So there is a wall that's dedicated to human rights issues, a wall that's dedicated to international issues, a wall that's dedicated to the pandemic, or an area dedicated to the pandemic. And so it's all these big national stories that were being covered, but when you come and look at the exhibit here, it's how those things were happening and how students and faculty and staff at Troy were experiencing those things.
The exhibit showcases forms of journalism to express the different ways students have been able to bring events to life through words and photographs.
At the International Art Center, we're always looking for ways to display different students' work. It's not just about fine arts. This story, the act of telling a story, the art of it is so important. And so we just wanted to find a way to lift up our journalism students and just engage our audience with a different type of art form.
There is a craft to creating news, and it's an art form on its own, trying to figure out what the truth of the story is and who can help explain that and how to do it in a credible way, and then package it in an engaging way where people actually read the content, because at the heart of it, journalism is a public service, but the creation of what happens when students are working on stories and taking photos and collecting video, that's all art.
While the Hall School of Journalism celebrated 50 years of teaching college students in early October, later in the month, the school is looking to the future, sharing knowledge with potential future Trojans at the annual JDay. Claudia Peppenhorst has the story.
Over 300 high school students came to Troy University's campus for the Hall School of Journalism and Communications JDay, where students got the opportunity to get hands-on experience in the news business and learn more about all the different fields of journalism.
I think a lot of times students don't quite understand what journalism is. They may hear politicians talk about the media or just people talk about the media as a whole, or these students may like to take photos or may like to write stories and not understand that the things that they're doing are forms of journalism. So for them to be able to come in and learn about what journalism is and the different types of journalism there are, we hope that It gives them a glimpse into the industry and helps us build future journalists.
Students attended different workshops throughout the day. From storytelling to yearbook design, they got to experience what a career in journalism looks like. Some of the workshops were even taught by Troy University HSJC alums.
One of the interesting things about JDay is a lot of the workshops are taught by our alumni who are working professionals. So that's a neat concept too for these students to be able to come in and not just hear from professors, but hear from people who actually went through our program and now are working as journalists or who have worked as journalists, and see that, hey, if I come to Troy, I could be doing these things too. I could be on television, my name could be in the paper, and that's something that's realistic for me if I want it.
Students even got their hand at anchoring the news and working set here in the Earl Hutto studio. They were excited to learn more about the news industry and see what all Troy's journalism program has to offer.
I'm mostly excited about being in front of the camera. I love being in front of the camera, being the one directing, and I like being the one to say what the news is. That's what I love doing.
I'm learning to get more comfortable with surrounding the news and everything. Also like to learn the school. It's one of my top picks to go to, so it's kind of a win-win for broadcast journalism and college.
This semester, Troy University Police introduced a new smartphone app that puts the ability to communicate directly to officers patrolling the campus in the palms of every student's hands. Zeta Ingram shows us what this new app can mean for safety on campus.
Safety, the first word that most families are thinking about when it comes to sending their students off to college. Troy University has placed emphasis on this word for years and has recently introduced a new application available to students concerning their own safety, Omni Alert.
The Omni Alert app, it is a new emergency app that we're encouraging all the students to add onto their phone, but we do have emergency call stations located in each quad in different places around campus. This is basically that on your phone. There is a button that you hit. If you feel in danger, it'll instantly call and it'll send us your location.
But the application does not just serve as an emergency pull at students' fingertips, but rather it holds multiple features that would benefit both the university campus and the community of Troy.
There's also another feature on there which is a texting anonymous. So you can basically, if you feel uncomfortable and you're walking and you can't get on the phone to literally pick it up and say, listen, someone's following me, you can text it and keep walking and get to somewhere safe. That way that text message will come through to anybody. And even if you felt like there was something someone might need to know about but you didn't want to be the person telling it, it's all anonymous what you're texting into the police station.
And when most people think of an emergency pertaining to a police call, they might forget about one major emergency, that of an injury, something the university police want to prevent.
You're coming to college for the first time. You're going to act out sometimes, and that can mean a broken leg on the occasion. You can't always get up and walk to an emergency phone station, but you've got that right there. You can hit the button, call, and let someone know that you're injured. So it's not just about, feeling endangered, it's safety in general.
And the Omni Alert application is intended to be life-changing, because in life it is merely impossible to expect the unexpected.
But when you've got that cell phone right there, getting to it and hitting that button is in a matter of seconds. So, and when you're talking about safety, a matter of seconds is sometimes life depending. And when you're at that certain age in life where you have a lot of potential things that can come your way, having that being so easily accessed is really important. So I am all for it.
Zeta Ingram, Troy, TrojanVision News.
In early November, university police spent their morning stopping students on the quad. But instead of tickets, they were handing out coffee. It was an opportunity for students to get to know the men and women who patrol the campus. Taylor Wayman shows us why it all came about.
Coffee, cocoa, and cops. Troy University's police department came together Wednesday morning on the campus quad to offer students a warm drink and a pastry on their way to their morning classes.
Today is coffee with a cop, and today's a chance to kind of get back to the community for all they're helping us do, and a chance just to get to know our students a whole lot better, our faculty a whole lot better, and a chance just to kind of humanize us, to show that we're not about just arresting people or writing parking tickets. It's also about getting to know you on a more personal level.
Typically, students only see campus police in passing or when getting parking tickets, but the Coffee with a Cop event gave students a chance to interact with the police on campus and to see them in a different light.
It humanizes them. They're not like some scary authorities with guns and like robots that just do what they're told. They're people, and they like make choices, and they're doing what they think is best, and they have their faults too, but so do you.
Troy police say they look at this event as an opportunity to show students that they can also have fun and hope sharing coffee, pastries, and good conversation will bring a more positive presence to police and how they interact with the community.
I think we have a really good department here, and it's really good for the students, and especially they're all approachable, so if anyone ever sees one, I definitely recommend them just saying hi or shaking their hand and just thanking them for being on our campus, because they really do keep us safe around here.
I believe there's always bad apples everywhere in every job, every profession, and my job is just to rise above that and not even think about that, but just to prove everybody wrong.
The stigma that has attached itself to police officers has been ongoing for many years, but Troy police believe that events just like Wednesdays could positively change the direction and relationship between police and communities, not just here on Troy's campus, but nationwide.
Right here, what we're doing today, this event right here is what law enforcement across the country needs to be doing. Not necessarily coffee and pastries, but just interaction with the public. I think that it's important that the officers, again, across the country, but especially here on campus, that we get out and relate to the community we serve.
Taylor Wayman, Troy, TrojanVision News.
This September marked the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Troy University honored the victims from that day through a ceremony on the John Lewis Quad. Claudia Peppenhorst has that story.
20 years ago, the United States was attacked with the events of 9/11, where terrorists hijacked 4 different planes, which resulted in the destruction of the Twin Towers in New York City. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives on that fateful day, and on the anniversary, the Student Government Association commemorated the names of those who passed away.
Today we're putting on a ceremony to remember those lives that were lost in the attacks of 9/11. We'll be reading the nearly 3,000 names that passed away on that day as a memorial and as kind of a respect and honor to those people that did pass away that day.
20 years after 9/11, we still remember those who lost their lives on that fateful day. Many college students may not have been born yet or too young to remember the events of the day, but the SGA wants to teach servant leadership here at Troy University and that everyone can do their part in remembering those who lost their lives on 9/11.
It shows that we truly care and that we want to serve others and that we want to appreciate those that have paved the way for us to be here. Most of us that are watching this, most of us that are at Troy now, we're barely even old enough to know what went on this day. And we're here today because of the actions that followed, the leadership, the servant leadership that followed past 9/11. To be able to secure our freedoms and to maintain our freedoms as a country.
With Troy being known as one of the top military appreciation universities in the country, George says it's even more important to remember and honor this day and the people who fight for our country.
Troy University is known as one of the top military appreciating universities in the country, and I think that's what we're exemplifying and appreciating today with this as well. Our country shows strong patriotism, and so does our university.
The events of 9/11 sparked patriotism across the country and inspired many to join the armed forces. George says even though he was too young to remember the attacks, the lasting effects of patriotism inspired him to join the military.
I'm going into the military once I graduate, and so I think this means a lot to me because the steps after that were to defend our country and to show that basically you don't mess with the United States without retaliation, and the patriotism that was shown on that day is one of the reasons that I'm indeed joining the Army once I graduate.
Many lost their lives on September 11th, 2001, and among those were first responders that reported to the World Trade Center to rescue those in danger. On this year's anniversary, Riddle Pace Field became a site where runners honored the steps taken by those first responders in the Twin Towers. Amaya Mitchell has the story.
Riddle Pace Field at Troy University is home to the Trojans baseball team, but on the morning of September 11th, instead of running the bases, people were running the bleachers. The Air Force ROTC program invited first responders and members from around the community to honor those who lost their lives that Tuesday morning in 2001.
We decided we wanted to have a stadium climb for Air Force ROTC. Our Major Sims actually suggested the idea because she used to do it on the bases she was deployed at. We're trying to honor the first responders that died in the 9/11 attacks, Washington and New York City. And that's why we're here. So we're doing 110 flights, each team, just to show what hardship they went through and try to properly honor them.
Participants grabbed pennies to represent the 110 flights of stairs climbed by firefighters.
Basically, the participant, they'll grab the penny and they'll bring it all the way up the lap, deposit it into a bowl, and by the end they should have an empty bowl on the ground.
Troy Fire Department Captain Jason McManigal participated in the event because he felt like he owed something to the firefighters who lost their lives.
It's just important because so many lives was lost that day, and you know, being a part of the fire service, it's just dedication, and I owe something to them people.
This just raises awareness, especially for the younger generations. You know, I might not have been there for 9/11 or experienced it, but something like this really raises awareness to what other people were going through and just puts you in place to realize what they did and how they did it.
Other participants included Troy University's police department, campus organizations, and even Waitman's family. Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
September 21st was the United Nations International Day of Peace. Zeta Ingram shows us how Troy University students celebrated that day.
2 words, world peace. Something that has been longed for since the beginning of time. Tuesday night, the International Student Cultural Organization took steps towards change during their annual Peace Walk.
So tonight was our yearly celebration of the United Nations International Day of Peace. It's a day that we marked by doing one of our flag marches, as well as having multiple speakers and just a continued celebration of international peace.
Troy University students, faculty, staff, and friends marched from Howell Hall to the International Arts Center, carrying flags of various countries. The best part is, there were not enough flags for the people celebrating peace.
When I saw the numbers of kids growing and growing and growing, and I realized we didn't have near enough flags, my heart just filled up, because it meant that there are students all over the campus who care about this, who want to be a part of it, and not just students. So it was a great moment. When I saw the crowd out in front of Howell Hall, it just blew me away.
The marchers made way to the IAC's Peace Dove to speak their thoughts on world peace and how they could accomplish it together. Students and faculty from different countries, cultures, and backgrounds shared their wise words and lyrics.
And the world will be as one.
To celebrate this significant day.
Peace is everything. And so tonight, as far as I'm concerned, is the most important night of the year. Because it's a chance for students from all over the world to come together.
And while ISCO has taken the initiative to spread peace within the university, Kiger hopes that they will continue to spread the message.
And we hope that by inspiring those students here tonight, they can go back, wherever they may go back, whether it be China, Sweden, Canada, or even here in the States, that they could take that message with them and maybe take a little bit piece of that cultural expression with them.
Zeta Ingram, Troy, TrojanVision News.
As we just saw, Troy University is home to students from all over the world. And as part of this fall's International Education Week, many of those cultures were represented at an event on the main quad. Robin Olds has the story.
On Wednesday, Troy University's International Education Week offered students a taste of the world on the main quad. Multiple tents were set up with items from various countries representing the students that attend Troy University from around the world.
So the Taste of the World event is an event where we try to get student organizations, international student organizations, the Study Abroad Club and the Study Abroad Office out to talk to students about the opportunities they have to go and study abroad, and also about their countries.
During International Education Week, students get to learn about various cultures through dining, fashion, photography, and more. I'm currently wearing a hanbok from South Korea.
We also have one tent that is for traditional clothes from around the world. Like this one is from Sweden, like I am. And so we just want students to try them on and see what other cultures wear.
Friggy says she hopes students can walk away from the taste of the world with a better understanding of different cultures.
Well, I think they enjoy all of it. They enjoy trying the clothes on. They enjoy hearing about the different study abroad opportunities. They do like to talk to the students from the different countries.
International Education Week is always held on the week before Thanksgiving every year. Robin O, Troy TrojanVision News.
Healthcare workers are on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19. In October, a group of Troy University students showed their support for those working at the local level. Amaya Mitchell has the story.
Troy University's Interfraternity Council stood at the entrances of Troy Regional Medical Center to honor the nurses, doctors, and additional staff who have been at the forefront of the coronavirus pandemic for the past 18 months. The stands project put in place to celebrate the faculty of the medical center included encouraging signs and cheers for nurses as they walked into their shift. The medical center CEO said it meant a lot to the healthcare workers who have been going through a rough time.
This is so important for us. I mean, we've been through 20 months of the most incredible, challenging times in the history of medicine. And to have the community support that we're seeing with the IFC is nothing short of amazing. Our team is physically tired and emotionally tired, but having the support of these folks is really important to us.
Members of the IFC said they participated to help encourage the staff and to say thank you for everything they've done over the course of the pandemic.
We just want to say thank you to all the nurses and, first responders and stuff like that, like those who, during this pandemic come and help out. They do a lot for us and they keep us safe in our community, and it's just good to get back to the community sometimes.
We're out here supporting the nurses, helping them. I guess moral support to get inside the building since they're having to go through a lot right now with all the COVID stuff going on. We just want to make sure that they're still in a good spirit and making sure that they're doing a good job and doing their job to the best of their ability.
The appreciation will last throughout the week with continued signs, praise, snacks, drinks, and encouragement. But this is only the beginning of the project. Troy IFC will continue to show appreciation for healthcare personnel throughout the year. Upcoming events can be found on their Instagram at Troy IFC. Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
A library is not usually a place you'd expect to get your hands on some fresh-grown vegetables. However, Troy University's Office of Civic Engagement and the library partnered to feed students in a new way by using hydroponics. Amaya Mitchell has the story.
Troy University's Office of Civic Engagement began a new initiative to grow produce for students with food insecurities, not in their backyard, but instead in the library.
A few months ago, I found a hydroponic farm in one of the library catalogs, and I thought it'd be a good potential outreach project for the library to sort of teach students some more about healthy eating and where food comes from, that kind of thing.
The hydroponic farm uses nutrient-based water filtered through plastic tubes instead of soil to grow the plants. The library and Office of Civic Engagement's AmeriCorps Vistas partnered together to bring the project to life.
They, along with Lauren, assembled the farm and did a test crop, which we just are in the middle of harvesting now, of lettuce. And they tended to it every day. It's really been just a fun project to watch.
Vista Kiana DeJarnette was hands-on with the project, nursing the plants from the very beginning.
I kind of nurtured it from the beginning, sprouting the seeds, inserting the seeds into the farm, and also maintaining nutrients and the pH balance in the hydroponic farm.
The farm isn't just a use for students facing food insecurities, but a way to teach students about nutrition and cooking.
A lot of students don't know anything about food other than, go to McDonald's or whatever and, put it in your mouth, but they don't know how to cook. Quite often, families just don't do that anymore. They live entirely on takeout. So we're trying to start letting students know there are some healthy options out there that they can control.
We just kind of want to let them know that they have healthy options on campus and kind of display that to them and help them in their choices with food.
The harvest also included recipes for students to cook, a cheaper alternative to eating out, according to Schaefer.
We've got recipes and just ideas of what students can do with it. And quite often, if you're cooking for yourself, it's a lot cheaper than if you were going out. So you can be healthy and you can have money in your pocket.
The library and Office of Civic Engagement will continue their partnership.
In the future, we're going to be growing various herbs and spices, tomatoes, all kinds of things.
In addition to providing students some fresh greens, the Troy University Library also celebrated a collection of postcards that gave a glimpse into some major moments in U.S. history. Caitlin Blackman has the story.
Troy University's library celebrated the end of a project that recognized a collection titled Military Service, the History in Postcards. Though the project is departing from Troy University, it is headed to a new location. This project has been ongoing for 3 years, traveling all over the state of Alabama. The postcards tell the story of military service members through their writings and drawings. Students and faculty gathered together to honor the service members through this reception.
It tells a story, and it helps you better understand the history, not only through the writings that are on the back of the postcards, but through the pictures as well.
Dawsey goes on to explain that even if you're not a history major, there is still a lot you can learn from these postcards.
We encourage a lot of students who are even the slightest bit interested in history, even if they don't want it as a major, to just come and check it out, because I think it's really cool. You get to learn a lot, and the pictures and the postcards are just really nice to see, and you learn a lot.
The screen banner exhibit is headed to a new location, but it will eventually make its way back to Troy.
It is going to the Naval Academy at Annapolis, so it has a short stay here, and then from there it will go on to the Military Academy at West Point. But it shall return to Troy.
Many students attend college to learn about history, but Troy students had the opportunity to see history in person at the Troy University Libraries. It brought in an exhibit with an array of artifacts that date back hundreds of years from significant historic figures. Claudia Peppenhorst has the story.
When you think about a library, you probably imagine hundreds of books, but what about books that are hundreds of years old? Well, the Troy University Library is featuring an exhibit called the Remnant Trust, which gives colleges around the country the opportunity to house pieces of history on their campus.
This is the second time we've hosted the Remnant Trust. It's a group out of Texas Tech that collects first editions and antique books with the sole purpose of trying to put them in the hands of students and faculty around the country. So in 2019, we were able to bring it here for the first time, and it was just enormously popular with students and faculty and members of the community.
The Remnant Trust features an array of artifacts, including a second folio edition of William Shakespeare's The Famous Life of King Henry VIII. The second folio was published in 1632 and will reside here in the library until the end of the fall semester.
The exhibit also features a Vulgate Bible from the 13th century, along with other antique and first edition books from U.S. presidents to Francis Bacon. The exhibit was welcomed back to campus this semester, and Schaefer says it gives students a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see them in person. Plus, there's an added benefit.
Well, it's just cool for starters. So you can begin there. But I think it also is really good for our students to be able to come in and have this textural connection to history, to actually be able to touch history. I think that can really spark imagination and get them more interested in learning about those works as well as others.
The Remnant Trust exhibit will remain in the library until the end of the semester. Schaefer hopes the exhibit will be popular among students and spark their interest.
The students who have come through definitely have been interested, and they'll do the fast double take or something like that, and then come over and look for a little bit longer. So I think it's going to be popular.
Troy University is home to an extensive catalog of plant life from across the southeast in the Herbarium located in the Math and Science Complex. Thousands of examples are in storage, but as Caroline Gerhardt shows us, due to a new addition, there's room for a lot more.
While it might not look like it at first glance, the Herbarium at Troy University is home to thousands upon thousands of plants that are preserved and stored for study and research.
The herbarium consists of about 52,000 specimens of both vascular and non-vascular plants, and vascular plants are the typical plants that people think of, and non-vascular plants are things like mosses and liverworts and lichens, and they are preserved, identified, and labeled and stored here in the collection.
The plants in the herbarium are stored in these large moving compactors, which have allowed for more plants to be added to the facility as well as more effective organization.
We recently received a grant from the National Science Foundation, which has allowed us to purchase these compactors, which has basically doubled the space that we have available for our specimens in the same amount of actual physical space that we already had.
While new species are being discovered and cataloged every day, one might be surprised to hear how old some of the plants in the facility actually are.
We have plants here that were collected in the 1890s and 1880s, and they're from there all the way up to today.
Student volunteers have the opportunity to enter plant species information into an internet database, all the while learning to understand the importance of plants and what they have to offer.
Even though plants don't move and they're not crazy like animals and all this kind of stuff, they have a lot of information that's really valuable to the public, and I think it's really important that, you know, we learn a little bit more about them and educate people about it.
The database of the Herbarium is available online through the Troy University website. Caroline Gerhardt, Troy, TrojanVision News.
As Troy University progressed through the fall semester, things started to get closer to the pre-COVID normal. And that was the case when one of those normal events came back to entertain the masses as the Symphony Band performed their first live concert in over a year in October. Kaylee Wright has the story.
The Troy University Symphony Band had an out-of-this-world performance on Tuesday night. For their first concert of the year, they performed J.S. Bach's Fantasia in G minor and The Planet Suite by Gustav Holst. Director of Bands and Symphony Conductor, Dr. Mark Walker, says that The Planets is a piece that he has always enjoyed.
It's a piece that I have loved since I was a kid, since I was just a little bitty kid. And I have a group, I have an ensemble that can play it, for one thing. The other thing is it's fantastic music.
The movements in the Planet Suite represent the astrological traits of the planets. Mars is the bringer of war, while Jupiter is the bringer of jollity. Each movement embodies these human emotions.
The planets have all human emotions and moods. It's got happiness and joy and anger and bliss.
Dr. Walker says that the Planet Suite can relate to our pent-up emotions that we have repressed during quarantine.
And I thought that was a little way of, I'm not sure, of being cathartic, of having a catharsis with all of our pent-up feelings and so forth of being quarantined.
And though tonight's concert was a great success, Dr. Walker said there were a few things that were a little different from past performances.
We have a few things that we've kind of not lost, but have kind of backslid that we've got to get back. You know, that is no one's fault. It's just the nature of the beast when it comes to having not played together in so long and having been pent up in a quarantine situation.
Dr. Walker is glad that they are able to continue concert season. The next concert will be on November 19th.
It's going to be a little bit more audience friendly. We're going to do some marches. We're going to do some beautiful lyrical music. We're going to do Holst's Second Suite in F, really bombastic opener. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All Troy University Symphony Band concerts are free to attend. Kaylee Wright, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance made a return to live performances as well, with an updated telling of an ancient Greek classic. Amelia Harrell gives us a look at the show.
The Troy Theater and Dance Department is ready to debut their first play of the school year. Directed by Quentin Cockrell, Medea is set to be performed from Thursday the 21st to Wednesday the 27th in the Trojan Center Theater.
It's been a very exciting experience because we're using originally composed music, newly choreographed dance, and these ancient words to tell this story that is over 2,400 years old. So it's been very exciting. I think the audience is going to see something that they've never seen before.
Cockrell has adapted this Greek tragedy for a modern audience, including a more modern adaptation and contemporary dancing.
Was thinking about Medea because I wanted to direct it for a long time, and I thought, oh my gosh, Greek choruses used dance all the time. Why don't we take contemporary dance and try to tell this story in a different way?
The actors and dancers taking part in the production have been working together to bring this play to life. Medea, played by Ingrid Lieb, describes this show as a production of a lifetime.
It's definitely a production of a lifetime. It is something I don't think you will get many places around here, just as far as quality of art and quality of care that goes into it. So yes, please come.
Students are able to buy tickets for $5 each at the Trojan Center box office and online through their online box office. Tickets for non-students will be $10. Amelia Harrell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And that wraps things up for our look back at the fall semester here at Troy University. We hope you join us again in the spring for our next installment of Semester in Review. For myself and the rest of the crew here at Troy TrojanVision, thanks for joining us and have a happy holidays.